Coming up on the next episode of the Celsius Pod.
I love the weird, quirky, and zany, funny, talkative animal side character. Because who doesn't love a funny side character?
And the Oompa Loompas, they couldn't get on the train, so he uses children instead of Oompa Loompas.
Yes, and raise rent on single mothers. Jesus Christ,
You're saying you got so cold that you got sick and that your limbs started falling off?
Guys, welcome to episode 54, the 1 year and 2 week special.
Yeah, this is the one where Beck is gonna grow 54 fingers on his left arm.
Yeah.
that's not safe.
Not safe for work.
That can't be.
Okay, well,
that can't be-
You know
that's
what
not
really
normal.
grinds my gears,
What?
as Peter Griffin would say?
You should probably check that out.
You know, there is a podcast at my college, and you know what's the plot of their kind of podcast?
What?
What's their plot?
Film and TV.
Such as us?
What kind of? It is.
No
so
way.
The three main hosts, they haven't watched any like famous TV shows. Their plan is to review the highest rated TV episodes of like famous TV shows and the lowest rated episode of the TV shows.
Episodes are like the
they'll just-
actual series.
Just episodes. They'll watch like the highest rated episode and the lowest rated episode, and then talk about it on an episode.
Can't wait for
Wow.
them to get to Silton's
And I was
comment.
like, and you're ruining it. You're ruining the experience.
You are. Like, I don't like doing it with like what I did with Ahsoka and what I did with Harley Quinn, which is just watching them very much out of order. It kind of just ruins the show for you, but it is kind of fun.
Okay. But Beck, I specifically brought this up because I wanted to mention something about one of the hosts.
Yeah.
And
What the fuck is this gun?
I'm assuming he's a
One
big
of the-
fan of some certain show that I'm a big fan of.
Okay, so one of the
One
hosts
that pertains to houses of an aviarian creature.
Holy shit! Holy shit! Is this a Beck Lines reference?
No.
So this says under like our introductory post on the podcast.
Yeah.
I love animated TV series like Adventure Time
Oh my
That's
god.
me.
and The Owl House.
Whoa.
That's a dub.
What's this guy's
That's
name?
a
Is it
dub.
like
That's a
like
dub.
is
Is
it
this guy's name like
Aiden
Beck
or-
Lyons and he stole a girlfriend from?
Biden.
Is his
Um,
is his name Biden?
Oh, Biden.
his name is Bladen. He is very, very cool. But it's
Wow.
like, okay, you watch those shows, but you haven't seen enough time to watch fucking Breaking
Bro,
Bad.
no, those
Come
shows are
on.
better than Breaking Bad.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yes.
Come on,
Oh,
Beck.
they
This
need to
gas
get
up
me and
Adventure Time
Aiden
for
guest
Beck.
starring on that.
Yeah.
And then we kick
Well,
you
that
guys,
just
we
really-
kick Nikola and Uri off, and we just do one with that guy.
Good
Yeah,
idea.
it's
Good idea.
Aiden,
What did I
Beck,
do?
and Bladen.
You're racist, Nikola.
That's just a character trait.
It's like the in the Looney Tunes show when Daffy's like, "What's wrong with me? You're a narcissist, you're sexist, and you make fun of the elderly. Those are just quirks."
Those are just quirks.
Character quirks.
But yeah, that just really grinded my gears.
That they like the Owl House, or that
No.
they
The
review
way
shows
they're
out of
doing
order.
their podcast grinded
Mm.
my gears.
Mm.
So
Okay.
you know what?
We
I
should
listened
do
to
that for
5
an
seconds
episode,
and
though.
I listened to 5 seconds and I turned off out of disgust.
I'm gonna actually look.
Wow,
I'm gonna look at the
Uri,
list. Of what is the most popular?
You're so high and mighty for doing that. You're so
best TV show episodes.
you really changed
of
the
all
world by
time.
doing that.
All right.
So what's the temperature?
Oh yeah, we need that.
Oh.
Sure.
It is 59 degrees Fahrenheit here.
It is 49 degrees Fahrenheit.
All
here.
down
right.
south.
Wait. So there's a couple
A 10
episodes
degree difference.
we actually know on this list. View from
Mhm.
Halfway Down is the third most popular.
Oh, of course, because it's the view from
Sozin's
halfway
Comet
down.
is number 5,
Or free churro.
and Plan and Execution Better Call Saul is number
I don't know.
6.
Beck, what about Connor's wedding?
Number 8. So if they haven't seen those, they just spoiled like 3 of the best shows or 4 of the best shows ever made.
Anyway, let's talk about Disney's Wish.
Oh, we're getting into
shit.
Wish?
You guys did do
We're
that. You
starting
guys-
it off. We saw it today.
Okay.
Of day
I,
recording.
I
Can I
was
say
not. I
something
was not
before we
available
start?
because I'm down south.
Sure.
I have seen the trailer for Wish like 4 separate times in theaters. It was
Mhm.
very annoying because the jokes they had in the trailer were pretty bad and the plot
Mhm.
didn't look that good. So I was going in here with very low expectations and I walked out and I thought it was good.
Yeah, I also thought it
Really?
was good.
I thought it was fine.
Okay.
For
You
a
know.
100th anniversary movie, it was not good
Yeah.
in certain aspects of the movie aspects, but of
But was
everything
this
else, it
made
was
by
fine.
the same studio that made Encanto?
Mhm.
Okay, one thing that I think the line I was writing this for my In Focus review is like they tried really hard to make a classic Disney movie and they succeeded in that aspect, but they failed to innovate and make something that was like different.
That was
So
like
it just felt
Yeah, this
pretty
seems like a
average.
type of movie that would like be really good in like maybe the past or something.
Well, they were trying to do something like their past for their 100th.
But
Yeah.
let's someone actually describe what happens in the
You want me
fucking
to?
movie.
All right, I got this.
Okay,
I got
Aiden's
this.
got this.
All right, so there's this girl, and her name is Asha, and she's like, guys, my grandpa is 100 years old, just like Disney, and he's gonna get his wish today, hopefully. And also, I'm gonna hopefully be the apprentice of the king. And then she goes to talk to her friends, which are all the 7 doors, which is kind of cool. And she's like, hey Doc,
My name's
I'm gonna be
Marty.
the
You want to build
apprentice.
something?
No. And so she's like, okay, cool. You go be the apprentice. Good luck. And then she goes and interviews and she's like, hey, King, you're so cool. And he's like, yeah, I know. Hey, look at all the wishes. And she's like, whoa, this is my grandpa's. Could you use this one today? And he's like, no, because listen, okay, listen, honey, listen, honey, listen, honey, please, Asha, listen, baby, listen, please. He plays
Baby,
the
no,
guitar.
please.
He plays the guitar. That could kill people.
Okay,
So,
one thing I'd
no,
like to
I'm not
say
with-
is over the course of just this short plot recap, they've already done 2 songs. Like they have won like every they kind of stack them right back to back in the
which
beginning.
is good for a musical.
Yeah.
But not so good that the songs, in my opinion, they weren't really quite memorable.
No, they were
They
good.
had like maybe
Hurry,
one.
shut up. They're good
They
songs.
had 1 or 2 that were good,
Bro,
I think. But I feel like
I've
they
been
talked
listening to the Wish
way-
soundtrack in the 2 hours since I've gone back. It's good.
I don't think it's that good, personally. I don't think it was that memorable for a 100th anniversary movie. You know.
I like the songs.
But
Yeah,
oh
I
yeah,
don't-
like tell us one of your favorite songs.
I
Recite it
like
for
the
me, please.
intro one. I'm not gonna sing because this goes online, and
Please-
that can very much be used
Please
against
recite
me.
it, Beck, if it's so.
Beck, what do you mean? You
memorable.
should. What happens when we do karaoke together, Beck?
No, that one's fun because I do it to a song that I kind of know. But
Oh, good.
I like "Welcome to Roast Sauce." This is the thanks I get, and knowing what I know now.
The
Okay,
things
thanks
I
a
get is
lot. No, I
AI
like-
generated, though.
What?
This is the things I get is AI generated.
What do you mean?
It is literally
Like
not.
it's literally AI generated.
No.
I have no idea what
Okay.
he's going for
No.
this.
Yeah, huh? It
Anyway,
literally is.
Asha's like, "Oh, King, can you grant
This
my
is
wish?"
not
And he-
misinformation. Google it.
Okay, well, Asha's like, "Can you grant my grandfather's wish?" And he's like, "Honey, baby, no, I can't because he's gonna kill people." And she's like, "No," and he's like, "Yeah, look at all these wishes. This guy wants to be a ballerina. That's dangerous, and he could kill someone." And she's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, "Shut up, you're stupid.
You
I'm-
stupid bitch.
yeah, pretty much." And he's like, "I'm the king. I get to choose because I'm the king, and people give me their wishes to keep safe because it gets a weight off their chest." And then she's like, "No, that's bad." And then he's like, "Come with me. We're gonna do the ceremony, the wish ceremony, and it's not gonna be your grandpa, you dumbass."
It's gonna be
then
a
she goes
person with
home.
scissors.
Yeah, and then she's gonna go home and she's gonna be like, "Grandpa, I have to tell you something. He's evil." And he's like, "No,
No, you stupid
This
granddaughter.
is so sad.
You lie. You're a
lie."
liar.
And then she goes out with her goat and she's like, and then she sings a good song. It's like her
goes
like,
out with
the
hero
greatest
song.
of all
This
time?
wish.
Yeah,
That I'm just
Yeah,
gonna
she's
say
like-
whenever a song plays that Aiden doesn't
yeah,
cover.
and then she sings that, and then she wishes upon a star, and the star comes down, and it's like, "Hey, hey," and she's like,
I'm a
"Whoa!"
star.
And then the
Pretty sorry guy.
goat starts talking. I don't remember his Valentino. I'm gonna just call
Valentino,
him
yeah.
I'm just gonna call him Sandman. From not Sandman.
Enter the
Clayface. I'm just gonna
Sandman.
call him Clayface.
Oh,
From
it is
Harley Quinn.
Clayface. Yeah, I just
Yeah,
realized.
so Clayface now can speak, and then she's like, What's going on?" And then all the animals are like, "Don't worry, baby, honey, girl, we got this." And then they sing a song that you don't understand what it's about until like it's almost done, because then they start saying what it's about in the song, which is like that everyone's a star for some reason.
Yeah,
and
I'm
then
a Star is the
then
name of the song.
yeah, and then she goes into town with the star and Clayface, and then she meets up with the dwarves, and she's like, "Hey, dwarves, I gotta go to the king." And the dwarves are like, "Okay, we'll distract him." And then she goes up and she tries to get the wish of her mom and her grandpa, and then she gets away with the grandpa's wish, and then
Oh, keep
she
in
gives it back
mind,
to her grandpa.
while she's still in the wish, the main villain is singing his song,
It's true. He is also singing his song, which is pretty good.
and he uses
so
the
then
evil magic.
he does start using evil magic.
You know it's evil because it's green and not gold.
True. So
True.
then they
He uses
go.
forbidden magic.
Then they go and they're like, "Grandpa, I have your wish. Here it is." And he eats it into his soul. And then he's like, "Wow, I feel so much better." And then the king shows up. He's
Just
like,
devours it.
"You stole the wish." And she's like, "Yeah, but
But you're
Yeah.
stealing the
Oh.
wishes.
And then for some reason he suddenly realizes now he can put the wishes into him. Like, I feel like that should have been something you probably learned by now.
No, because he
Yeah.
never uses the evil magic.
because he wasn't evil before. He was just misunderstood and neglected for some reason."
Yeah, except
Yeah.
he is kind of evil.
This is the
And
thanks he
guys, he
gets.
literally became the definition of he became the thing he swore to destroy.
True.
So you
Yeah.
can
then-
say that like
then
he
he
wasn't evil in the beginning, and then it turned out he's evil.
No, he gets
Maybe that could be
corrupted.
considered a.
yeah.
I consider
well,
it more of a
twist villain-
corruption than him just
The
being
twist
evil.
villain happens about 10 minutes into the movie.
It's the
Yeah, no,
goat.
Yeah.
That's why I personally think this movie could have done with more screen time to just kind of have some more breathing room, at least in between we get an introduction to the twist of the villain. Because obviously, the twist villain is the king, kind of like straight away.
By the trailer.
The
You've
trailers
seen
and the posters.
trailers, poster, you kind of know that he's the straight villain, which is why I think I would have liked at least some more breathing room before we immediately knew. I feel like we kind of probably explore the world a bit more, and I felt like maybe
Okay.
we could. That's why it rushed to the end of the
Okay,
movie.
I see-
but here's my question. What do you guys think about the goat?
Okay.
Isn't it so weird
No,
and
no,
quirky
no, no.
to have another fun and talkative character side animal?
We'll get to the
Animal
reviews of the
side,
movie
yeah.
after the description of the
One
movie.
Yeah.
thing I want to say
Yeah.
about the villain is he may have done all this evil stuff, but in the song he says that the people of the kingdom don't pay rent, so he's automatically better than all landlords. So
That's true.
I mean, he's
No,
not that
landlords
bad.
are based.
Shit, but guys,
Raised the
remember,
rent on single mothers.
Okay. So anyway, he
we
goes
have
to
we have to tip our landlords
Yeah,
every
yeah.
now and then, though.
Yes,
Anyway,
and
he goes-
raise rent on single mothers.
he
Jesus
goes to
Christ,
Asha's
they're
house, and then he gritties
eating
on
us
his.
dry.
Yeah, he goes to Asha's house and he gritties on her mom, and he's like, "Haha,
Wait,
I ate."
he goes.
Yeah, he does that.
Yeah, and then he eats her wish, and then he's like, "Ah, I'm evil!" And then they run away. And also, he wants the star. He wants to take the star for himself.
Makes
and so they
sense.
run
More
away,
wish,
and
more
they
power.
row away. And then Asha's
I
like,
need more
"I gotta
weapons.
go."
I need more weapons.
Asha's like, "I gotta go save all the wishes." Then she goes to the doors, and she's like, "Guys, I'm gonna go save all the wishes." And they're like, "Okay, we'll help you out with that." And then they
But you
help
forgot
out with
one
that.
part. You forgot. So before that, he had a town hall where he's like, Asha, she's a criminal. Anyone helping her
Oh yeah,
is evil, and then it's revealed one of her friends betrayed
Yeah,
her.
it was
Sleepy.
Sleepy.
He betrayed her,
And then he gets hypnotized. And then they have a song, and it's pretty good. And also the queen is on their side now.
Yeah.
And then
I did not care for the queen.
and then their
character.
plan happens. And also Asha's dressed like the fairy godmother from Cinderella, and she gets a magic wand and then makes an apple really big. And then the dwarves do whatever they do. And then
No, there is a good scene I want to point out where it's like the dwarves are fixing everything, but then you have the wife and one of the dwarves. They go into the dungeon. They're reading the book. They're like, okay, how do we save him? okay, turns out if you use this magic, you can never be saved because they need justification to kill him. We can't
So
be
so
Steven
funny.
Universing him. We need to
Can't
kill
be
him now.
saved.
Yeah.
You
So
must die.
So the dwarves unleash the wishes, and Asha realizes she's not being chased by the king. She's being chased by Sleepy the whole time. And she's like, oh no, the king is still there. And then the king shows up, and he's like, ha, I have all the wishes now. And all of you are trapped. Ha, 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 ha. And then Asha comes up, and she's like, yo, what's up? My name is Asha, and we rapping because we are all stars.
I can make
And then
pork
everyone else
with
is like,
banana.
everyone else is like, yo, we're all
Eating pork
stars.
rinds with-
Yo. And then he's like,
Everybody in the screen,
no.
put your hands in the air.
He's like, no, your rapping is too good. Now I'm gonna get sucked into the magic for some
she's
reason.
become a rapper.
Okay,
And then he gets
Uri
sucked into the
was
magic.
so mad because they never explained how he gets trapped in the wand. Like it was like, bro, how
Okay,
did they do it? Did he like go into the wand?
Okay, so the guy, so she sings, and everyone's all like, "Oh, we're all singing, we're all stars." Everyone's very hippy
Guess who's
dippy,
back?
and then
Back again.
all the green shit is gone, and then he wakes up in a staff. It's all like, and then the queen's all like, "You always wanted to look in your mirror, didn't you?" And it's like, "How did he get in the staff?"
I think I'll get to my complaints, but then the end of the movie, the star gives her a magic wand, and they're like, "Yo, you could be our fairy godmother." Yo.
Matt, Aiden, I know it's
And that's
I know
then,
the character
and
was
then
so
the credits
memorable.
roll, and it's all the constellations of all the Disney movies.
Obviously,
So
Aiden,
basically, this is saying that she is Disney.
I don't know.
They
Yeah,
have way
basically.
too
She
many
is the
Disney
fairy
cameos,
godmother?
in my opinion.
Oh, and then the post-credit scene is the grandpa playing "When You Wish Upon a Star" on a mandolin.
Aiden, obviously this moment was so memorable for you that you forgot to mention when she wishes upon a star and the star comes to life.
said
we,
that in the
we
beginning.
literally talked about that.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
Do you
did.
not watch
I'm
the
kidding.
podcast, Uri?
Yeah, what the
Okay.
hell? Anyway, that's
Yeah.
the movie.
But I did, yeah, let's get into
No,
our
okay.
complaints and positive likings.
All right. Let's just go in a circle.
All right.
Beck, you can start with a positive.
I'd say positive. Songs
do a
still
positive.
banger going in my playlist. I think they were amazing.
Okay.
They moved the plot forward every time. Every time there was like an important scene, they had a song to go with it. And I thought that was really good.
Beck says he doesn't like it, but I do like all the Disney cameos. It is supposed to be the 100th anniversary movie, and having all of these little references to all these characters.
And I say a
things
point
is
about
nice.
that. I say this
Sure.
in my In Focus review that I'm writing. The film, the cameos add to it as this big culmination of 100 years,
Yeah.
but it takes away from it as an independent film. So if you're going into
I
it
see.
looking for this big 100-year celebration, they're good. If you're looking for it as in like a standalone movie, it takes away from it. That's my opinion.
Yeah, but it's supposed to be the 100th anniversary film.
Okay.
That's like
But-
what you're
And
supposed
if
that
you're
to.
take
going
away
into it
from
looking for
its
that, the
plot?
cameos are good. But if you're not going into it
Yeah.
looking for that, they're not that good.
Yeah,
in
I
my
mean that's
opinion.
what I was going into it for.
Okay.
I think I agree with Beck on that point. I would say that while the cameos are nice, I did think they did not need 7 friends.
Yeah,
I feel like
that
they
one
needed
was
like
one of the biggest things.
It's supposed to be the Seven Dwarves, and that's the first Disney movie.
Yeah, because this all connects
That's the
to all of the Disney movies. She is the fairy godmother.
I got that spoiled for me. It was like the Kingdom Hearts lore
Yeah.
is more simple than this.
Oh wait, she actually is? I thought that was a joke.
I mean, kind of, but not really. There's people saying online that every character like gets their wish to be another Disney character. They're just like nods to them.
Yeah.
Although there is the goat who's like, I'm gonna create Zootopia. Well, he doesn't say Zootopia, but he just explains Zootopia. And then at the end, they do like a Mickey Mouse ears above like the castle.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I guess
And they
going around
put-
the circle, I'll just say
Yeah.
what I loved about the movie.
Yeah.
I loved the weird, quirky, and zany, funny, talkative animal side character. Because who doesn't love a funny
he's not
side
even in it that much.
Yeah.
He doesn't
They
he doesn't
put him
really do
way
anything.
more
and he's
in the
not doing
trailer
good.
than he's in the actual movie.
That's my one complaint is that he's not in the movie enough.
Yeah, he's not very intrusive.
I would say
'Cause-
positive thing. I felt like I did like the king, but I felt like they fucked up his art.
They should have
Well,
made
that's
him
my-
like
that's
a
my
bit more
negative.
likable and like compelling in the beginning. Like
I think
Yeah.
if they gave him a better reason for not granting wishes that isn't he could play the guitar and then inspire people to be evil.
Yeah, I know.
He's like-
if
You
he
know,
had
he
a
goes- he
better,
goes-
if he
He
had
goes like
something better
Imagine
than that.
Dragons with it. It's a revolution, I suppose.
I mean, he had
To
a
fit
very
right
good
in.
song that would have been other than the this is the
Thanks,
whatever
yeah.
whatever the other thing.
Hey, what if his songs start the tears of rebellion and they, I don't know, it's like fascism in Rosario,
Yeah,
wherever the
I think
wherever
In
the
just,
place it was.
I think
Rosas.
yeah, I just think his his motivation should have been different for keeping the wishes. Everything else was fine, and then his takedown, I think it could have been dragged out a little more, like something closer to
Like they
the
don't
guy
they don't
in,
fight him. They just like defeat him.
yeah, but then he gets sucked into the wand, which I think they could have done better. Like it's like it takes like 3 seconds for him to get into the wand, rather than like
How did he get in the wand?
what's his face from
Oh,
rather than what's his face from Princess and the Frog, where he has
Oh,
like a
yeah,
whole
that
thing of
one.
him getting dragged to hell. It
Your
reminded
friends from
me
the
of
other
that.
Yeah, that makes
side.
sense.
It reminded me of that, but I think it should have been drawn out.
Just
his,
gets
like,
dragged
yeah,
to
defeat.
hell.
yeah.
I guess it
That's a
wasn't
good
really his
movie.
friends from the other side.
I think if he just had more development, he would have been a really good villain.
Yeah, I mean, like the film's only
Yeah.
like 90 minutes. They could have made it a bit longer.
But yeah,
okay. I'm gonna say problem I had probably the marketing of this movie.
Yeah.
Definitely the marketing of this movie to how show the main twisted villain
No,
who was like 10 minutes in.
I don't think he's supposed to. He's not a
he's
twist
not
villain.
a twist villain.
yeah.
He's set up as a
He's
villain.
just a villain. I think
Yeah,
I think them leaning into the he's evil because he's evil approach for this 100th year anniversary movie is a good idea.
Yeah.
It was a good idea. They just kind of
I think
fell
they
over
fumbled.
when they
Okay,
yeah,
one
they
thing-
fell over carrying it to the end.
Is that it felt weird for me, like how much the citizens are like, yeah, we're just gonna give you our wishes. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
So you weren't entranced by the whole wish system?
No, I think it's a good system, but I feel like the citizens unbelievably are like, yeah, take my wish. I feel like he needed to have
Take my wish.
offered them a lot
Some of-
more.
No, honestly, some of these wishes are kind of stupid. I want to sew the best dress in all the land. Come
Oh,
on.
that's a good
That's
wish.
a good
It's
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
like having the ones
A
where like
million-
I'd like to be really good at this thing. Or I
Yeah.
think those are nice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Grandpa
think-
kind of had a bad wish though. You
I
know,
think-
Or
like,
was the grandpa's wish?
To
To
inspire
play the
people.
guitar or whatever. Yeah, to
But with the
inspire.
wa-
What the
Oh,
fuck does that mean?
To inspire
Yes.
people. I don't
And
know.
the-
He could. Yeah, that's
and
that's
be-
exactly what the king says.
It's
That's the
so
king's whole
vague, He
motivation.
could have like said to inspire a revolution.
That's like his. That's what the king says. Like literally.
Okay, well,
You
then the king
literally
is
says,
genuinely in the
like-
right. Yeah, because some of those wishes are so stupid. Because if they're too vague, these people have never heard of genies before.
So true. I thought the plot of the movie was good though.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I think everything else was good. The animation style was nice. I think they could have leaned into it heavier.
Yeah.
I felt like it's
It
either,
feels like,
as Beck said, you either go 3D with it or 2D, because it felt like they were like maybe one like a rough draft right before like a definitive lines, or you go like all 2D with it. It was like
Yeah.
this weird mix I didn't like.
Yeah. For me, it felt like a weird compromise between 2D and 3D where you don't
Yeah.
get the benefits of either one.
A lot of it, like the backgrounds, didn't look like they were loaded in.
Yes.
It's the best way I can describe like how
Yeah.
the
Not
backgrounds look. When the
fully
characters were
rendered,
like when the characters were like
Yeah.
moving around and stuff, it looked better. But like still shots just look like they didn't like render it properly.
All right. Well, is that all we have to say about Wish?
Wait, I wanna. Can someone actually search up this AI?
Oh my God,
Sure.
Nikola, search it
Nikola.
up and please give us a source.
It's so
Yeah.
real. I don't spread misinformation ever on this podcast.
Bro, there's an episode called Nikola's like says
There's an
misinformation.
episode where Nikola says, "I think you should kill yourself." So
I
take that.
I showed that to someone. They were like, "We ought to remove that if you're sending that to colleges."
Many are accusing Disney of using AI to force the music to fit the mold of what's currently popular in the musical scene.
What?
What is? Hold
Washington
on.
Post.
I'm not
What?
saying anything.
In the city of Roma.
Says Lee
with-
says Wish combined the feel of vintage cinematic watercolors with modern technology, with a main goal: no loss in translation.
That doesn't sound like
I think that's
AI.
compelling evidence. Modern technology, clearly AI.
All right.
But wait, Beck, you said
I'm not finding
this in-
anything except from
As
Inside
Walt
the Magic,
himself
which
said,
is not
always
a good.
innovate and always keep evolving as storytellers. These look like prize-winning photos. They're AI fakes.
Uri.
Beck, you
I-
said sending us into colleges. Are you talking about the Celsius pod in your college's essays?
Yeah. Oh, I'm sending it as like one of the activities I do, or like
Oh wow.
skills. Yeah.
Can you list us some other activities?
Well, yeah. I mean, I think Eagle Scout looks better than doing a podcast.
I
don't
don't
know if
know.
it does.
Does it?
I don't know.
The
well,
title of the
it
movie,
goes like
Wish, is
Eagle
actually
Scout,
reference
then it
to how
goes
you will wish
podcast.
you were
So
somewhere else.
Oh, how that's it's 2 activities.
no, I have more
But
than that.
that's
I'm not gonna
Beck, I want to talk to you
about.
you know what? About the Ballad of Songbirds and
We're going from
Snakes.
one musical to another musical.
So, I would say that I think this movie was definitely overhated by critics, and there is definitely a disparity, as you can see in the Rotten Tomatoes. The audience score is like 90.
Okay, yeah, but does anybody believe Rotten Tomatoes anymore?
Yeah, no, they
And,
they rated Wish below the Marvels, I think.
That's crazy.
Okay, but Wish. Okay, I haven't watched Wish, so actually I can't say anything about that.
Okay, I have a couple of things.
But I would like to. I'll just say a few
Yeah,
things
say
first.
what you want.
Yeah, I'll just admit.
I mean, because you always have to keep in mind, I hate doing this because Rotten Tomatoes is stupid, but also Rotten Tomatoes isn't how good a movie it is; it's how recommendable a movie is.
Yeah, it's weird.
Like, what's the difference? But it's stupid.
it's kind of like Steam
And
recommendations.
It's how much would you recommend it to somebody else, and it's like
I would say I would
50%.
probably.
That's like why FNAF is so small, is because like unless you know the lore.
Yeah.
I would definitely say so for the Ballad of. So this movie right now, I'll just explain it
Yeah.
kind of in not too intense, but essentially in the main Hunger Games trilogy, there is the villain who is the president of like the
Cornelius
capital and
Snow.
Coriolanus Snow. Beck, it's not
Cornelius Snow.
Cornelius Stork.
So it's Coriolanus
Storm.
Snow, and so essentially
Storm.
in the main Hunger Games trilogy,
Is that the daughter
He-
of the main villain?
No.
no. So in the main Hunger Games
But
trilogy,
like, isn't the main trilogy the villain is Snow?
Yeah, this is
Yes,
Snow's
Snow.
younger self.
Oh, it's just the
Yeah.
younger version.
Yeah.
Oh.
this is a prequel.
Prequel.
So this movie is essentially.
Oh, I thought you. Okay, I see.
This movie is the prequel origin story of the villain in our main Hunger Games trilogy. And so this story kind of tells kind of how he became from like a student of of his like school to like one of like a pretty bad villainous guy. It goes back. So in our main story, they're at the 74th Hunger Game. That's the first book. And in this one, it's the 10th Hunger Games. And essentially he's trained to mentor
Yeah, no, it's a competition. I thought this was a great idea they had in the movie, where basically all these university students, they want a big prize for being the top of their class. But the guy's like, I'm not going to give it to you. I'm going to assign each of you a member that in the Hunger Games, and if your person performs the best, you get this large amount of money. So now everyone is like compelled to like help their person because they get the money.
It's pretty compelling because Snow is actually, you would assume he's like a rich guy coming from like the capital, which is like the rich society, and then all the rest of the country is like the districts, and the capital controls the districts, and they make them fight in this war in as an act for the districts rebelling against the capital. And we don't need to go into too much detail here, but essentially there is a factor that in the entirety of the Hunger Games lore, there's only been 4 District 12 winners. 2 of them were Katniss and Peeta, our main characters in
The
our
one
Hunger
was
Games.
and
in
then
the
one
Hunger
was
Games
also the
trilogy.
one that helped them.
One was their mentor called Haymitch, who was also a main character in the trilogy, and the other one was named Lucy Gray, who was the person that our Snow was mentoring in this
Is
story.
that mentioned
So
in the
essentially-
original books, or was that completely new?
No, it was mentioned. It was mentioned there was another victor for District
But we
12,
never named.
but we never named. And because District 12 is like the poorest district,
Yeah.
nobody expects winners from them. But essentially, so they do like the reaping, and she gets like this called, and she's like a singer. She's very flamboyant,
He
and so
cheated on the
essentially
mayor, or she. Okay, so there's the mayor's
threw a
daughter, and he
snake.
was dating this guy, and she like hooked up with the guy. So the mayor's daughter was mad, and she got picked to go in the Hunger Games.
Wow.
So it was that kind of
Yeah.
act of a revenge.
Yeah, no, it wasn't the mayor's daughter who was picked back to go to the
No, it was the
games.
mayor's daughter. The girl cheated on the mayor's boyfriend.
Yeah, it's
kind of.
yeah.
And so the
But,
mayor's daughter was mad and asked her dad to pick
and
her.
so essentially her whole thing, it's like, so before the Hunger Games, in their main trilogy, in the 74th Hunger Games, everything's pretty flashy. Like everybody watches the games, people give sponsors to the games, and like it's all that, like people can give, like in the games they can give them like items, people can do that, and it's all like this thing. But in the 10th Hunger Games, since it was only like 10 years ago, since the end of the war between the Capitol and the rebellion, everything's pretty raw. The idea of sponsors and like feeding people before the games,
Yeah, and the
preparing them, that
stadium,
whole hasn't been invented
the stadium,
yet.
like it was just a big circle Coliseum style, where like in the future one, it's like this big dome.
There's arenas, there's
like different
water
environments,
arenas.
water everywhere. This one
Yeah.
is just like one circle, like the size of like a football field.
Wyoming.
So
And so essentially this story, we're seeing how essentially Snow, he's working with this like evil kind of doctor who made up the games, and like he's kind of the one who kind of essentially created what the modern games became. Like he introduced all these ideas and proposals, and essentially we see that as he kind of moves throughout the game, he cheats a lot. Like he sneaks her having rat poison so she can kill other people in the arena. He fucking even there was a friend who escaped into the arena to help, like,
because one of the people picked was his old friend, so he went to
Was
like
his
pay
old friend?
respects.
And he, in trying to save his friend, he killed a tribute who was in the arena. And so we see this as they go on, and eventually his tribute, Lucy Gray from District 12, she manages to win the games. And
Wow.
Yeah.
yeah. And so everything's really cool. And so now I'm going to get into more of a review aspect. So essentially,
the third act,
I'll go.
because like
Yeah,
I feel like my dad, I was literally sitting next to him and he was like, I thought that was gonna be the end, because like they end the Hunger Games, he's like, that's the sound of snow falling, because like the guy cheated and they figured it out. And it's like, that could have been the end, and then they have an entire third act, which, do you want to explain it?
This was a big problem in, I think, people's most mind. I think that the thing is, this book is really, really accurate. This movie is really, really accurate to the book. I read the book in it came out in like COVID summer. It's really, really accurate to the book. The person who wrote the book is an executive producer on all of her movies, and so the books have been really accurate to the movies. And so in the book, just like in the movie, there are 3 parts. And so essentially, but the thing is about at least for the first 2 Hunger Games books, the movies kind of climax right after the games ends. And while for this book and this movie, there's a whole third act that continues after the games. And this is why I think some people, maybe a 2-parter was a good idea. But if you remember that Mockingjay was a 2-parter,
and people
didn't
hated
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
People didn't like that Mockingjay was split into 2 parts, because they essentially thought the first part was really boring and the second part was more actiony. And so I think that's why they decided to do this thing where now they're only going to do it in 1 movie. And I think, for the most part, for me at least, I think while it was a bit rushed in some aspects, I think like the third act probably worked for me for the most part.
For me,
I don't know
the
about you,
third
Beck.
act felt like it dragged on so much. But I mean, Uri is given from the perspective of someone who's actually read the books. For me, I think we were talking, we said the third act probably worked better in the books. not well
Mhm.
on screen. Because I feel like
Yeah.
you could have like fit all that stuff into maybe like half the time, in my opinion. Like it was literally just
We-
you need 3 plot beats. You need him meeting back up with Lucy Gray in Mr. 12, him betraying his friend, and then Lucy Gray running away. You needed those 3 plot beats, but they had a bunch of other side stuff that felt pretty weird.
Yeah, let me just quickly explain what happens
Yeah.
after the Hunger Games, because Lucy Gray wins the games, but he's kind of punished for cheating in the games, and so he gets sent to be like kind of like a police officer in the districts, which they're called peacekeepers, and he sends to do that for 20 years. There's some shenanigans. He plans to run away with because he falls in love with his tribute over the course of the movie. Plans to run away, but then he realizes he can probably still continue to have a life in the capital. So then they go into this thing where they both try to kill each other. She tries to kill him with a snake. He tries to shoot her, but she manages to get away. So we don't actually know what happens to her in the end of the movie. But he goes back to the capital and becomes like a tutor under like the doctor who created the games. And that's kind of like we're seeing the formation of how he becomes kind of the leader of
Basically, why
Panem,
he
and
turned
then
evil and didn't cancel the games after seeing what they did.
And I would say, I think for an origin story, I think it did quite well. I think it beats a lot of other origin kind of villain stories because I don't really call that many like villain origin story prequels. If you guys can think of any,
Joker.
yeah,
Joker.
but this is more like
You
kind of
wanna
like
know
a
I got
'cause the
these
Joker.
scars.
But the Joker isn't
Like a
really like a
pretty funny
prequel though. It's
joke.
kind of just like a
Yeah.
movie.
I literally that's the only like villain solo movie I can think of.
Yeah, but
Megamind.
Okay, that's not like
But
it's aimed to like
he becomes a hero
pre-establish
by
stuff.
the end.
yeah. But I would say for the most part, I feel like this movie, I feel like it did what it needed to do to set up the image of this guy of how he is in present times, and it also doesn't mention that girls are gonna fall in love with this because he's pretty hot, for the most part.
He
Snow is
does.
pretty hot.
I swear to God, he looks exactly like Eminem in the third act because he has to shave his head.
That's
He
why.
does look
That's why
like him.
people say that this image of him in this movie is gonna be like that one picture of Stalin,
Yeah.
because like he's a dictator, but then he's also like hot. And then there's that one photo of Stalin that people consider he's like super hot in, because it's like when
Yeah.
he was super young.
Yeah.
Wow.
One thing I want to say is like by far the best part of the movie was just like seeing how the Hunger Games have evolved over the years and like how it's actually kind of explained because like the person that like kind of invented the game like he hates the games and he wants to like kind of soft end them, so he's trying to make them bad, but then Snow's in here like giving all these good ideas and he actually makes it into the spectacle it is. Like original Hunger Games, it's literally just you get 24 people, they all fight with swords and it's over.
Yeah.
But he's like,
and they're literally hungry before the game starts.
They don't feed them, they're put in cages and no one knows
Hunger
about
Games,
them
more like
before
the
they go
Hungry
in.
Game.
But he's the one that's like, okay, let's like publicize all of them, make sure people know them. We're going to feed them before we're gonna put them in the thing. We're gonna allow sponsors. He basically made it into the spectacle from basically what was them just fighting each other for no reason. And one of the coolest ideas I think was in the regular Hunger Games. You know how they can like receive like kind of like sponsors through like drones. They'll get them.
Yeah.
They can.
So
they can receive that. Yeah.
He like pitched the idea for drones like the day before the games. They're like, yeah, we can get it working. And he sends in a drone. The drone immediately crashes into one of the people. And then they bring that back because like the person's surrounded by 4 people. And the guy says, I'm going to send 8 drones. And the drones just start crashing into each other. And it's kind of an offensive technique because of how bad the drones are. It was a really creative idea, in my opinion.
One thing I would actually like to highlight, which I think might have been one of my favorite scenes in the movie, was so the doctor creates a lot of things like beasts and shit like that, and so she creates like these snakes that if you throw your like scent into them, they can trust you, but if they don't, like if you don't have like your scent or something, they will attack you. So they need your scent to like beforehand or something with like I don't know, like if you throw like a paper into their bin or something and you've like written on it and it can like detect your palm or something, and then you put your hand into the bin, they will not attack you, you know. And so the doctor plans to kind of like end the games because like one of the mentors died or something,
Yeah.
and she plans to kill all the tributes. But then to save his tribute, Lucy Gray, Snow, he puts like a her like a napkin that he dabbed her with, and they detect her scent. And so when they're attacking, they kill all the rest of the tributes, but they don't kill her because they know her scent. I thought
Yeah.
that was a really cool concept. But
Um.
overall, I would like to say I enjoyed it. I liked the Hunger Games. It kind of made me want to rewatch the main, I guess,
Hungry
quadrilogy.
Games. I would
Yeah.
rather read the
It
book.
did make me
But
want to
I've also
rewatch
read the
it.
books.
But I do also think the movie was very much not necessary. Like I would have been completely
It w-
fine if we didn't
Yeah.
have another Hunger
We
Games.
didn't need this
But since
story.
we got it was still a pretty entertaining movie.
Yeah, it was a
Yeah.
nice return to see to the back to this world. I would say I feel like it's not the most interesting story. I felt like there's a lot of more interesting stories to actually come from this kind of universe.
Yeah.
There was like the 50th game where it was a special game. It's the other time a District 12 winner won, who was like the mentor in the main story, and it was like they doubled the amount of tributes that were in the game. So instead of
48.
24, it was 48. So that's pretty cool.
Wait,
The
they do
25th game
Is it every 25 that they do a special one?
yeah.
Okay.
Why would they
Yeah.
do a special one?
Just for
to
entertainment.
entertainment, because obviously this has a lot of themes on kind of like reality TV and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How much we were willing to go for entertainment.
I don't know, I think-
Yeah.
And
Anyway, speaking of reality TV,
TV, the
Holy
Squid
shit.
Game, the challenge. I watched it.
I
guys,
saw it on CNN. They were talking about it. They said
And
it's a
who
must
here-
watch.
No way.
and who
Yeah.
here has watched the actual Squid Game?
You're kidding.
Who
Okay,
here has
so
watched
sorry.
it in? Who here has watched
the
it
Nikola
in
alarm
sub?
the Nikola alarm went off in the movie. You guys missed it.
Okay, so
Okay, but who here has watched it in sub?
I didn't want. I actually.
In
I
its native
unfortunately watched it in dub.
You guys, holy shit, that's embarrassing for you guys.
It is.
Yeah.
It sounds so bad. in
Anyway.
dub,
It
though.
does.
It sounds
Guess
so
what? I
bad.
can't follow it if it's in sub, so
Oh my god.
Okay, so let me tell you. Okay, so essentially, I really, really had a fun time watching this show.
Was
It was
fun
really
bad
cool
or
watching.
good.
No, like I'm fucking like the way I like Survivor, and this
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
reminded me of Survivor in some ways, because I had a really fun time just watching it. Because like I feel like there's two types of kind of reality TV. There's reality TV, which is like The Bachelor, shit like that, and like
Yeah.
but and it's like it's an okay reality, but good reality TV is good, man. If you can
Like
get to
The
that level,
Amazing Race or Food
Yeah.
Truck Wars.
yeah.
Those
And so
are just two
essentially-
I've watched, and that's all.
And so essentially, right now they've only released like I think the first half of the season. They're going to release more episodes, and they left off on a really tense moment. And so let me just explain. So they do. So essentially, you'd think they just like adapt. Like they got 456 like players, and you think they would probably just adapt people to do the games, and that's it. But because they know people have watched the show, they they do keep the
Actually,
games the same.
You know what that
games-
reminds me of? You know a reality TV show I watched a long time ago? It was
What?
called Ace of Cakes, and I remember it's just about a company that makes cakes, but because like you have to have some type of tension in every episode.
Yeah.
I remember one episode they were making some type of cake that was like for some band for something like their anniversary.
Yeah.
And it was like an actual functioning microphone, but also a cake. And then they made it, but then they turned out the wire was the wrong type. It was a female end instead of a male end.
No.
And then they had to call in a guy to resolder it.
adapter for that. No way.
And then they had to call in a guy to resolder it, and it was saved, and it was
Wow.
at the nick of time.
Can't you just get
And it
an
reminds me of-
adapter for that? I swear you can just buy one
Probably.
online.
And it just reminds me of how like a lot of reality TV shows, like even though they don't really have any drama, they kind of like force drama.
Yeah. And so you definitely there's definitely some serious drama in the show. I won't say.
Oh, yeah.
I'll give you. I'll give you
Like,
some
they actually
broad.
kill people?
like how the people in the show got like heat stroke and like tore
Hypothermia,
tendons.
So
there's
they
like that
do
we had
actually
to
kill
go.
Netflix.
people. It's just like
Okay,
Squid Game.
I need to talk about the elephant in the room. 2 contestants are trying to sue Netflix for cases of hypothermia and nerve damage.
Why are you doing this as if those aren't real things?
But
They're
they're
I would
not.
not be
real.
defending
Guys,
a multi-billion
They're just trying to
dollar
they're
corporation.
trying to steal money
you
from
get-
these corporations.
You're
Please,
you're saying you got
corporations are already
so
being bled dry.
cold that you got sick and that
You
your
guys are
limbs
sharing
started falling
passwords.
off.
You guys are
I bet
bleeding
it's
these
two- I bet
companies
it's
dry.
two people
First
that
you
we didn't
bleed.
even
First you
follow in
share
the show. I
company.
bet
First
some
you
two
share
randos.
passwords,
Yeah,
and
no,
now
that's
now
one
you're.
other controversy I heard. Like they very much cherry-picked celebrities to be in it and kept them longer.
Oh, they had celebrities in it.
Or like
They didn't have
I
celebrities.
don't know, they had
Oh.
like I did hear they had like
They had like a basketball player, but I don't remember.
yeah.
But
Hmm.
okay, let me just so you'd think they just adapted straight. So essentially, they do adapt the games, but essentially they kind of elevated by having some certain tests where you can have tests where you can eliminate other people, and that's a kind of
So
a
it's
cool
like the
concept.
lost thing.
And so essentially, let me tell you one fucking example in the show.
Yep.
So we know, so everyone knows red light, green light in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's cool. But then
Yeah.
when we move to Delonga, the cookie cutting game, essentially when they have like the 4 lines, and the people in the first 4 people in front of the line, they have to go into a room and they have to choose amongst themselves who gets what shape between the circle, the triangle, the star, and the umbrella. And no one wants the umbrella.
Yeah.
And if they can choose in under like 30 seconds or something, all those 4 players are eliminated if they can't. And so that happens for the first 4 people. The next 4 people in, you're like, they have to agree now that they know you can get eliminated if everyone doesn't pick.
Yeah.
They still can't decide those 4 people get out.
Ooh.
And so then there's the next batch of 4 people. And then the guy on the 4th line who's going to choose, he's starting to cry. Is like, because he knows
you
Womp
should not be
he knows he's gonna
crying
get-
at a game show.
No, he knows he's gonna get
Womp womp.
bullied into getting the umbrella, and so they go into the room, and they're all like immediately. They all tell the 4th guy, "Come on, go get the umbrella. Go get the umbrella." He's like, "Come on, please, don't."
Womp
And
womp.
they force him to get onto the umbrella.
You can just
And
eliminate
then-
them for fun. Like just say no.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
could.
But you would eliminate himself too.
Yeah, no, but
He
like
would- yeah, but he'll get
it's like a
eliminated
giant middle
anyway.
finger to them before he's eventually
yeah.
eliminated.
So he eventually does pick the umbrella at the end.
Uh-huh.
And so we follow. So circle, basically most of people in circle manage to make it, and triangle, they're all good. But umbrella is a fucking killer, man. The guy who chose the umbrella,
Yeah.
he got out. Unfortunately, he couldn't carve the umbrella. There's only like 3 people who
My
carved the
fat
umbrella.
ass would just eat the cookie.
Can't
Yeah.
you just do
And
that?
so, yeah, well, I don't know. They can lick it. They lick the cookies and then carve it out.
Mm.
But that's an example of how they changed the games. But you know how in the 3rd game was like the tug of war?
Yeah.
They changed that to be battleship, like
That's so
warships,
fucking
man.
dumb.
That's so that would
that
have
can
worked
kind
so
of-
much better in reality TV.
But it kind of worked well because people were expecting the tug of war, so they got into like a few men got into like a good line, so because they knew they'd get the tug of war. But then it was warships, and we'd been following this guy throughout the first 3 episodes or something, and his name was like Brighton, and he was like, I'm the only one here. I'm so confident. He kept making. Whenever there was a lot of people cry a lot in this show, and when he saw some people crying, he's like, "Are you fucking crying? Are you for real now, dude? Come on."
It's a
You
game
crying
show.
right
Why
now?
the fuck are you crying?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
like
saying
Nikola.
that right now.
Womp
That's pretty smart.
womp.
And so they did battleships, where essentially it's like, they guess who's on. People are like in the battleships,
Oh.
and if they manage to fully get out your battleship that you're in, you are eliminated. And then it like whoever gets the first to get 2 battleships, their team wins, except for any boats that might have been eliminated in your round. And so that's the third round. And then, but they do some really interesting things. So, okay, let me tell you a really cool elimination test that they do.
Yeah.
So they do an elimination test where essentially people will people, all of them will vote in the dorms, and everyone gets to see who votes for who, and whoever gets the top 3 most votes, those 3 people get out.
Ooh, they don't have the knife fight.
I mean that's later.
Oh,
Why
okay.
aren't they actually killing contestants? This is nothing like the show.
You're right.
And so it's a really cool idea for eliminations because like whoever you've eliminated will be on this big board, and everybody can see who tried to vote for who.
Did they vote
At least.
to end the
That's not a thing back
Why
in
wouldn't
this
they
one.
do
That
that?
What? No.
Are they acoustic? Why do they want to keep
Okay.
dying?
And so that they do some really cool elimination tests. They do like a Jack in the Box one. But so they're in the. I just want to say something. There's a mother-son combo who surprisingly made it so far all the way up to the last episode so far. But I kept thinking like the you know how in the show the marbles kind of split up the two people groups, you know. And so I kept thinking, this marble thing is going to happen to the mother-son combo. And in like the first episode, I thought that's probably going to happen. And then I kind of forgot about it. You know, in the last part of the 5th episode, which was the most current episode, they were like they're getting a picnic basket, and then everyone opens their picnic baskets, and it's a bag of marbles. And the mother and son they were paired together for the picnic,
No.
and so they're going to have to get each other out. One of them is going to have
This
to
is
get each
so
other
sad.
out. And so that's where we left off. They're just about to do the marble game, and it's really.
So
I was actually pretty
wait,
thrilled.
do we
by
have
it.
a confirmed release date for the new other episodes?
I can check.
I'm checking right now.
Are you gonna watch them?
I just want to know.
No, I would suggest watching it. It was actually really fun watching this show.
Yeah, CNN said it's a must-watch.
Wow.
When do the new episodes air? Speaking of episodes airing later,
Yo, it's time to talk
Whoa.
about the thing that I don't care about.
Aiden phone
Is this
time.
Invincible?
It says
phone
November
time.
29th. So
Okay, wait.
Next
before we talk
Wednesday.
about before we talk about Invincible, Aiden hasn't talked in a bit, so I'd like to let Aiden talk about something.
Okay. Well, no, because that'll be the only thing I have to talk
Okay,
about
but
until Rick and Morty.
I feel like
So,
I need to.
you guys can talk about Invincible. I'll talk about my thing
Okay,
after.
who
and
wants to
then
give
continue
the
from there.
recap on
I can give the
Invincible?
recap.
I mean, I haven't really been talking, so I think
Yeah,
I should
Nikola
Oh my
hasn't
god!
talked.
I've never. You've recapped the episode every single time.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
because
wait.
it's
Guys,
basically the only thing I ever
All
watched
right,
back.
fine.
Guys, I have a little idea. I'd like to put forth. So Nikola will recap the episode, and Beck so far has not liked this season, and Nikola has. So then they're going to have a little debate
Yeah.
after.
A
Nikola
little
Wow.
recaps the episode.
debate, if you know what I mean.
A debate.
Okay, let's go through this episode. So we start off with a recap, and after that, we start off at the beginning, at the end of last season. But this time, we're following Mark's dad. We're following Omni-Man. We follow his side. He beats Mark. This time, they animate the scene with more emphasis on the sound, so you have more of Mark's breathing, more of the wind in the background, more of his cape fluttering.
Oh,
And
you
even
did not
louder
notice
this
this on
time.
a first watch through. Which recap did you watch or details?
I noticed that on the first watch.
You
What are you
did
talking about? I'm
not.
just such a good fan of the show. I'm just a really good fan of this show. And then so then and then he also says, "You dad," which what will he have after 500 years? I guess we'll have to see. So then he flies off. He's kind of depressed. He's just wandering through the galaxy up until he finds a black hole, and he's about to let himself get sucked into
He's about
it.
to kill himself.
Yeah, who knows if that'll even kill on Viltrumites?
It will.
I don't know. We'll find out.
It kills light,
and-
bro.
It doesn't kill a Viltrumite though. So after that, he sees some Thraxans in a crashed ship, and he grabs those Thraxans. Interestingly, there's a small girl Thraxan on that ship. That becomes his wife. So Omni-Man's kind of a predator.
Well, no, she's still 6 months. She's still 6 months old.
Yeah.
Beck defends pedophilia. That's the title of this episode.
That is not the time.
After he saves them, it cuts back to where they've been. And it's been a while. So he talks to him. He kind of continues debating him. He's like, "You have to see." He's like, "Fuck you! You try to kill me. You try to kill Earth. I'm a head out." He's like, "You don't even know how to get home without me. Please, these people are in danger. Give me 5 minutes." He's like, 5 minutes for them, not for you. And then he goes and he finds out he has a little brother. And my favorite part is that a lot of these scenes are like basically animated directly from the comics,
Mm. Yeah.
which is really fun. Give me 1 second. I'm still scrubbing. So he finds out he has a brother, and then all of a sudden we cut to Debbie, and Debbie's doing her own lonely walk. And then she walks to the grave of
Oh yeah, I thought it was really cool how she kind of like did her own thing of
Yeah.
Omni-Man.
and then she walks to where does she walk? She walks to an overpass, and that's her contemplation of whether she should jump off. But then she decides, not because she has to save somebody, but because she's strong enough, she decides not to kill herself.
Yep. And then she goes to the grave and meets up with the old
then-
costume guy.
Yeah. And she's
Art?
like, I don't know what to do without him. And he's like, well, just do what you usually do, because he was never really there to begin with. And then she starts cleaning up the house. Then we go back to Invincible now we go back to the college, and they're like, "Oh my god, Eve, do you need help? If you're not feeling good, we should meet up." And she's like, "Oh, it's fine." Then we go back to him. He's talking to him. He finds out he has a little brother. Then Eve fights the fucking laser arm guy because he stole a power orb. And then 3 Viltrumites crash into the planet. And he has to fly off with whatever the bug
baby.
is, with the bug and the baby, and go
The
to a cave.
baby?
But then a Viltrumite finds him, and then they start fighting. But this Viltrumite's able to put him down with a single finger up until Nolan comes and cuts through his stomach and impales him.
Yep.
Then we go back to Eve. Eve is still fighting, but too bad she accidentally knocks 2 people into a car into the water and has to save those 2 people. We never find out if they live or not. She just says, "Please make sure they're alive." Then we go back to Debbie. Debbie's talking to the guy. Then we go to
She kind of
Cecil.
elevated the fight to the bridge for no
Yeah.
fucking reason. Like, why did you take the kill cannon there of all places?
Because she wanted to beat someone
Why?
up because she's
No, because
emotionally not.
A
Good.
fucking apartment that they live in. She's living where the team used to live. She is sleeping there, and that is inside the Golden Gate Bridge. That is inside the bridge.
That really?
Yeah.
Yes.
No,
That's
I
why
didn't
they're
know
in the
that.
bridge. It's because the house is literally inside the bridge. It's the superhero hideout. Then we get to Donald. Donald's trying to figure out if he's a clone or not. Turns out he's just a robot.
Yeah.
And then we get back to Mark and Nolan fighting. Nolan's like, "Why do I feel this way? I'm not supposed to feel like this." Top tier voice acting by J.K. Simmons. "Get out of my sight before I destroy you."
Simon?
J.K. Simmons.
That's the one thing you can comment on.
Yeah.
J.K. Simons.
Simmons.
"Get out of my sight before I demolish you." And then he continues to fight. He's like, "Mark, you have to actually like fight to kill, or else you will die."
Yep.
And then they fight. He almost kills the sword hair bitch. And basically everybody's out of commission because the guy that he disemboweled beginning flew back and fucking broke Nolan's
He did like a
back.
flying double kick into his spine, so
Yeah.
he's like paralyzed now.
And then we go back to Debbie. Debbie is selling the books. I sure hope that's not important because right in the next scene, Nolan tells Mark,
Read the
my
book,
books.
which I'm gonna assume
And
is just
Mark
like
has-
autobiography about like his life
Yes,
as a
it seems like
Viltrumite.
a bunch of fiction books, but it's actually a bunch of stories from his past life as a Viltrumite. And
Yeah.
it actually shows a bunch of weaknesses of Viltrumites. Fun
Really?
fact. Yeah. Like I'll give you 2 examples that I know from the top of my head.
Yeah.
One of them is about a space ranger who has a gun that can that can shoot through anything, including Viltrumites, but it's left on some asteroid. And
Spoilers.
another one is about a bunch of animals that are super strong and fast and powerful enough to kill Viltrumites just simply because their planet has a shit ton of gravity.
That's cool.
Then we go to Eve. Eve's kind of depressed. Then we go to Donald. Donald bleeds, but then he notices the knife is bent. And then we get the fucking goat. We get Clancy Brown playing General Craig. Clancy Brown is also the same guy that voices Mr. Krabs, so I always find that super funny whenever he shows up and stuff. Mr. Krabs threatening Mark Grayson, saying he has to take his place for Nolan. He's basically saying, let me make this Walter White crystal clear meth for you.
He says it exactly like that.
Either you kill a couple humans, or we kill millions. And then he goes, and then he leaves.
And something interesting that's
This
different
guy
from the
is very
comics, in the
important. He
comics,
may come back
says-
later. Yes.
In the comics, he says, "Get ready to plan like 100 years," but in the show, he says soon. So I
Yes.
feel like in the show, they're kind of ramping things up.
They're
now.
definitely condensing things. And then, oh yeah, and I neglected the fact that the Mahler's twins, the one that was kind of half burned, he made a clone. But this time, because he's scarred, he knew he was the original. And because he knew he was the original, he was ordering around the other guy. And he was like, I'm
Right.
King Mahler. And then he gets poisoned by the other guy. And he's like, yeah, there's a reason why we try to make sure we don't know who is who.
Yeah.
We ruined our bond, bro.
Yeah.
Okay, so Beck, talk about
And
why
that's
you don't
the
like
ending.
Beck, talk about why
Alright,
you don't like
I
the season. Nikola, talk
actually-
about why you
And
do.
now
I've-
we have to wait.
I
for
have been
January.
writing down a lot of my thoughts.
But Nikola,
way
you're gonna
better.
try to have to rebuttal Beck's points, and Beck's you rebut Nikola.
I can do it.
Okay, let's talk about Invincible. Season 1 very much lacks the big hook that season 1 did.
Season 2 lacks the
Season
big
2
hook
lacks the
one
big
did.
hook that season 1 did. So it feels like a lot of the side plots have no clear goal in mind. Like, why is he doing all of this? The first one, it was really clear. We have to figure out what Nolan's doing, and Mark has to learn how to actually be a hero. And now he seems pretty competent, so we don't really have a driving force. It is clear that in the next part we'll have the driving force of trying to protect against the Viltrumite invasion, but we don't really have that for the first 4 episodes. All of the side plots except for Alan and Debbie feel very why are we having these? They make no sense. Why do I care about Rexplode's love life, or why do I care about Eve and what she's doing? It just doesn't make a lot of sense. It lacks a lot of interesting dynamics or any clear motivation for the characters.
Okay, my counter to that is, sure, we don't have a hook, but that's because the first 4 episodes are all about recovering from season 1. It's all about bearing with the impacts of season 1. We now know it was Nolan, and he's kind of screwed everybody on Earth's life. It was after the big fight, and now we're just going through basically every single character and seeing how it affected them and how it affected the story.
Do you need half a season for that? And that's only main plot. That doesn't affect the side plots at all.
It does kind of, because it affected the entire world. That's the whole point of season 1.
Okay, but
season
how
2.
does that affect Eve, or how does that affect the Guardians?
Because Eve had to go help repair Chicago, and then Chicago ended up collapsing.
Dumb.
And then that ended up. What do you mean that's dumb? That's just how it works.
Okay, I get the thing where
I'm
it's
sorry to
she's
break it to
trying
you,
to
that's
save
how it
people, but
works.
then she does it wrong. Oh no. That, I can kind of get that, but I don't know. I don't care about the Guardians at all.
Yeah. And I don't know. I like that it's following I like how it's you can definitely see some panels that are directly animated from the comics, and how it's basically following the comics but it's condensing it a lot. And I can definitely see that the next 4 episodes are definitely going to pick up a lot more than the first 4 episodes, because you can definitely tell it's now building to the action. And because I read the comics, I know who the Viltrumites are going to send to see how Mark's been doing, and that is something I cannot wait for.
Yeah, Nikola has just read the comics and just I can't wait for this to happen in a couple episodes.
Yes. I can't wait to see it animated, because the fight scene it's genuinely I think one of the best fight scenes in the entire comics.
Okay, yeah, I that probably will be for episode 8 because the creators said 8 and 4 are like the most crazy ones.
Actually, I don't think I know what Nikola's referring to. I actually don't think that's going to be in this season. I think it's going to end with like the multiversal stuff this
True, I
season.
think it
and
has
Oh
then-
yeah,
to
no,
end
the
that way.
multiversal stuff probably.
No, I think it has to end that way because we still have Armstrong Levy just out there doing his own thing.
That's going to end this season. Another complaint I heard this season was, as Beck said, rush. And they said the fight on this episode was not as good as the one at the end of season 1.
Yeah, no,
That's what
because
I've heard.
it's also a mid-season finale, so you can't take it as like big as this season 1. But also, one thing is, I feel like this may seem a bit weird, but I've seen the panels from the comics compared to like the actual animation. There's a lot less gore, which I mean, if you see it, you're like, wow, this is
In the
already so
animation or in
gory.
the panel?
In the animation.
in the animation.
It's
Yeah,
like-
the animation they definitely cut back on the gore compared to the.
I'm worried, like, were they trying to like knock? Is that something higher than TVMA? Like they can get, or is like they just didn't want to go too gory on it?
I think it's just like it's like too gory to even be like worth it. Like, what's the point? Like at a certain point, it becomes like almost like obnoxious. Like it's just like trying to be gory for like trying to be edgy. So at a certain point, like what's the point of being so gory? At a certain point, there's enough gore that's like it's good enough.
Yeah.
I definitely at that point. I feel like at this point we've already seen how gory Nolan and Mark can be.
I also kind of feel like they tried to humanize Nolan a bit too fast.
Well, that's
like
kind
this
of
is
what.
the guy who murdered half of Chicago, and now they're just like fighting side by side.
I mean, that is
Well, I feel like
fair
yeah, definitely I
Like,
can see
kind
that,
of-
but at the same time, like that's kind of like Mark's entire thing. This episode's like he really does not want to help him, but he kind of has to because
Well-
these people are in danger.
Yeah, but all
But
of
to
them
be fair,
died.
Beck, I kind of
or
I
most
do
of them died.
believe by the point I believe by the end of his fight with Mark, he was already kind of humanized with the memory of his child as a baseball game. Because I feel like it's not that they're humanized, they're kind of fixing Omni-Man's arc. I believe the last episode of season 1 was basically him just lying to himself about being connected by humanities. So I think it kind of just continues from where that left off. I think pretty naturally it is abrupt. But it is abrupt. It is kind of abrupt. But I feel like that might be to the nature
You're fighting
of
to see everyone around you die.
it. Does
What
it's
will
the
you
abrupt nature
have
of the season.
after
500
500
years.
years?
You, Dad, I'd still have you.
I sure hope that
I
pays
do-
off.
But I do believe it does because the thing is, we've only seen Nolan like only throughout this episode, and I get why you could see it feels kind of rushed. You know, I felt like maybe they probably.
I feel like their main
they probably-
issue right now is because they're only doing 8 season
season 8
8
episode
seasons. Yeah, 8 episode seasons. Oh yeah, 8 episode seasons. And like the entire like the current arc is much longer than like 8 episodes. It's really hard, and there's like no really clear point where they can really just cut it off. It's kind of hard for them to.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like kind of hard for them to not rush things.
And Beck, I would say to your point about like why do we care about Rex, Splode, and Adam Eve? I would say because like Beck, you don't know how long the comics are, but there are really, really long comics. And I feel like right now, while we do get these like massive arcs of like Viltrumites, that's like kind of a payoff to not like way later in the comics. So right now it still is kind of a slice of life superhero show in a lot of ways that we're just kind of building arcs because we're using this I feel like they're using kind of the fundamentals of these episodes right now to like kind of build in a bigger arc. So right now we're still just seeing kind of slice of life because we still haven't gone to the really big parts of the comics yet.
Got it. I think that's all we have for Invincible. So
but I would say overall I was okay. My take, I was okay on the episode. I did kind of get disappointed in some aspects, but it was very faithful. I would say
this is like maybe the second best of this 4 we have. I like the Alan the Alien one probably the most.
The best. Yeah, the weakest by far was the
season
ocean
episode
one.
2. Episode 2. Right?
Yeah.
I definitely agree
But
with
I
that.
feel like it's leading to a better second half.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Should I talk about the
But
one? Okay, you want to finish?
you know, I just want to quickly say
Yeah.
this. I don't think we're going. We might. I think we might not see Omni-Man until season 3.
Yeah, we do need to follow
Agree. Oh
Angstrom
no,
more.
definitely. I don't think we're gonna see him again until season 3. Definitely. Because even in the comics, you don't see him for a long time.
I'm
after
gonna
this.
assume he doesn't die off screen.
No, he does not.
Okay.
But yeah. Let's talk. What else?
Okay, let me
Let's
just.
talk about the Rick and Morty
Oh,
episode.
Rick and Morty. Yeah.
So Aiden, you can take this one.
Okay. So basically, Rick is like, Morty, I'm drunk, and Morty's like, hey, I have all these coupons. Look. And then Rick is like, no, those are fake. And then Morty's like, nah. And then Rick is like, here, I have the all-seeing eye. He's gonna review them, and then they review them, and then they're like, wow, this guy sucks. And then he hears them, and he's like, ha, I'm gonna be annoying to you and your family. And then it's a clip show, is what the
Yeah.
episode
Oh.
is. But it's a good clip show. It's
a good clip.
it's well written. They have a lot of funny jokes in there.
Well, just random
there was-
one-off jokes all packed back to back.
Pretty much. I mean, the ending, it's supposed to be like a Rick is depressed because he killed Prime Rick, and then now he's happy again or whatever, or like
Yeah.
he's operating more normal. But the episode itself, the jokes are funny. There was one that was blowing up online, the triple gun gag, where Rick is like, here, Morty, here's a gorilla gun. It's like, wow, that's so cool. And then he shoots someone with it, and it just like almost kills him. And it's like, it just is a gun. And then
To kill gorillas.
And then Morty's like, how about we don't do that again? He's like, okay, counter argument. Here's another gun. This is a bully gun. And he's like, oh, I got it. I figured it out. And then Morty gets like
Uses
mugged
the
or
gun.
whatever. And he's like, what are you going to do? Bully me when I'm a bully? And he shoots himself, and then he dies. And then Rick revives him. He's like, okay, that was your fault, not my fault. We're just going to make this simple. Here's a gun
That shoots bad people.
that shoots bad people. What are you going to do? What are you going to use this gun
Morally
for?
ambiguous person.
To shoot bad people. Okay, and then he's on a date with Jessica, and
Jessica.
a mugger comes out. He's like, I'm going to mug you. And he's like, ha, take this. And the gun shoots out Jeffrey Epstein. And then
Jeffrey Dahmer.
Jeffrey Dahmer. It just shoots out Jeffrey Dahmer.
It literally
And it's like,
shoots bad people.
Is that Jeffrey Dahmer? He's like, hello. And then they run away. It's just a well written, like, rule of 3 kind of joke.
Yeah, I would say all I have to say about this episode, it is kind of a nice return to form after the massive episode of last week.
Yeah.
And I said, like, I don't know if Rick's kind of totally healed from the trauma, but it was a nice return to form. Solid episode for this season. Solid, not like, I don't think it's as good as That's a Morte or something.
Yeah.
But it was a solid episode. Rick and Morty does this concept really well of reinventing the clip show.
Mhm.
They've reinvented the clip show quite a bit. They've done season 1 with the interdimensional
2.
cable that they do Morty's mind blowers.
One thing that's crazy to me is this: how last episode wasn't the finale. Like, I feel like that built up between like 4 different seasons, and they save it for they put it as the mid-season, which is
But
weird.
Beck, that's what makes it so makes it so cool and impactful. It's the Connor's wedding
Yeah.
of Rick and Morty.
Okay. I get it. I do think it's a good idea. It's just it kind of
I like when shows kind of surprise us in like a middle of the season.
Yeah, it's surprising in the mid-level.
All right.
Yeah.
What else
But
do we
that's
have?
all. That's all I have to say on that part.
I have it's still talking Rick and
Do
Morty.
you actually get into what we're watching individually?
I have one thing.
I have
We
one
can
thing
do it
also,
group.
but I
I've
can wait
literally
till
watched 1.3 other things.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, so let's get into what we're watching. Beck goes first.
All right. I have like
I
a
can
point
understand.
one. I like watched half episode of Hilda because I want to try to finish it before season 3. And
Oh yeah, I need to start on
for
that.
me,
With Hilda.
it's like the show looks amazing, but sometimes the like storylines aren't completely there, but I still want to watch it. And then the main thing I watched Snowpiercer. And does anyone
Good movie.
who here I'm assuming Nikola, have you seen Snowpiercer?
I have not seen Snowpiercer. It's the one that's like the Willy Wonka
I
sequel,
want
right?
to talk about that because Okay, so
Kinda.
Snowpiercer is basically like post-apocalyptic. The entire world is covered in snow and it's freezing outside because the world doesn't know how to do climate change. And the only humans
course.
that are left are on this train that goes around the world. And you start in the back, it's all like really poor people eating bugs. And as you get further, it's all the richer people. And they go forward, it's about like society and like money and all that. It's a really good movie. But there is this really
Solid movie.
there's a really popular fan theory that it takes place in the same universe as Willy Wonka. And now
Okay, but why?
I'm gonna explain the points. So
Yep.
everyone here has seen Willy Wonka, right?
The original one.
The
Just
original one?
any-
No,
the-
I've
the-
heard it- I've only
you
seen
know
the Johnny
general
Depp one.
plot.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so now how does Willy Wonka get people to like gather? He sends messages in food. In Snowpiercer, there are tiny capsules that are put in food that contain messages. So
No.
that's it's a crazy detail.
Fuck off.
Okay,
no.
and
I have
then
irrefutable evidence, just like how
No,
Sans
there's
and
more, there's more.
Papyrus is the two turkeys from Freebirds.
there's more. Okay, so you know how
Oh.
Willy
This is why
Wonka
Occam Razor
hired
was
the
invented.
evil guy. What's his name?
As a test.
Yeah, as a test.
Harris.
Yeah.
There is this old man that the guy meets at the beginning who turns out to be working for the guy at the head of the train. Coincidence? I think not.
Is the
Yes.
guy at the head of the train Willy Wonka?
No,
I think this is
but guess
precisely
what?
why.
Guess
Oh
what?
no.
Everything around the train has a W on it. What does Willy Wonka have? A W.
Fuck
Yeah, he's
off.
2 W's.
Yeah, but like it's Wilford, so there's only one W. We don't know his first name. Okay.
Wonka's his last
Okay.
name.
But yeah, no, this is like
So it's not Wilford.
no. And then
It's the sequel because it's not Willy Wonka. It's the other guy.
yes, the other
It's the guy who gave the factory
It's
to.
saying it's Charlie Bucket changed his name to Wilford
Why did he change the name to Wilford?
Why would
because
he
he
do
needed
that?
the W to be like Willy Wonka. Now,
Also, that's
Why
not what happens. In the book, they go to space.
okay, no. This isn't a sequel to the book.
This is the movie
Sequel to the
version.
movie. Okay,
Oh.
but then I have even more points. So, you know how like you have all the kids. There's this theory
Yeah.
that
Sucks.
all of like the people, all the rich people, main characters that we've
Beck.
seen are all the kids from Willy Wonka. So you have a guy that's really into guns, and what's that kid cowboy really into? Guns.
Oh, he's into TV. His name is Mike TV.
But he likes guns. That's great.
No, he
Does he?
likes TV.
Is that a famous trait?
His famous trait is he likes TV.
Hey,
His
Beck,
name is
have
No,
Mike
but he
heard of-
TV.
also
have you
likes
heard of
Whole
guns.
thing.
Beck, have
No.
you heard of?
And these are
Have
so
you
many
heard of this
reasons
thing called
piling up.
Occam's
Okay,
razor.
okay,
Have
what
you heard
about
of
Veruca's
Occam's
phone?
razor?
Which one is she again?
The rich girl.
She is actually the one that wears glasses and is like, I really like Wilford because he keeps us alive. Because some reason. I don't
I
know.
bet-
The guy in
I
the
really
video
bet- I
explains
really
it
bet-
better.
What about
I really
Augustus
bet
Gloop?
He might have died
I really bet
Okay.
that
in this
Bong
theory.
Joon-ho, the director of Parasite, was
Alright.
watching.
No.
Was watching.
I
Charlie-
have a
Really,
final
though,
point that is going to convince
What
you.
about Violet? What about Violet?
She is like
She died in
the quiet woman that kidnaps children, I think.
Okay, so why is she not
what about
blue?
Uncle Joe?
Yeah, well, he's probably dead. But why is she not blue? Why is Mike not TV not small?
'Cause they cured
Why
it.
is Veruca Salt not covered
Because
in
they
garbage?
fixed all of that off screen.
Have you heard of something called Occam's
They
razor?
show it on screen.
No, they fixed it. They fixed them off screen. No.
Nicola, you've been bitching on this Occam's razor.
No.
Tell us Occam's about it.
Final point. So, as he goes through the entire crazy train with all these random stuff, similar to a factory of some sort,
Oh my
We get
God.
to the
Okay.
end, and guess what? The guy at the front of the train, he offers the main guy the train because he's old and has to retire. So, another point I forgot. The engine, guess what? It needs tiny people, and the Oompa Loompas, they couldn't get on the train, so it uses children instead of Oompa Loompas.
Why
That's
couldn't the
fucking-
Oompa Loompas get on the train?
Because I don't know. No, guys, this theory is rock solid. I don't know what you guys are saying. It's a rock
That's a
solid.
pretty bad theory.
Okay,
I
Nikola,
really
what is
bet
this sort of
Bong Joon-ho,
Occam's
the
shave?
Okay,
award-winning
So
director of
Occam's razor is
Parasite.
basically this thing that says if you have competing ideas, that typically the simplest one is the correct one.
I see no other ideas
Wow.
being thrown
And
out
let's
here.
see, I think the other idea might just be that they have similar concepts.
Yeah.
that seems
Sounds
to
a
be
lot
a
more
similar-
complicated.
That seems a
are
lot
you
more simpler
saying-
to me.
Like, are you saying that the award-winning director of Parasite, Bong Joon-ho, while writing Snowpiercer, was maybe watching Willy Wonka? He's like, fuck, man, I can make a
The movie that
sequel.
people typically don't like, and the one that banished everyone from making Willy Wonka or from making Roald Dahl adaptations.
Wait, no, it was really
Until-
good. Wait, we're talking about the old one, right?
Yeah, the one that Roald Dahl
They
hated.
dropped
and
a best of
made
some
everyone-
people.
Not the
and
one that
made it
has
hard to-
the Jack Sparrow guy. The other one.
Oh, it's the
Yeah,
other one.
that's what
the
I'm
one
saying.
That
the
one was
that they
really
dropped a best
good.
of some
Why don't
people.
people like it?
Roald Dahl hated it.
Because
Well,
they dropped
who
the
cares
best
what the
of some
author
people.
thinks? Harry Potter.
The when is the author right? When has the author ever
Okay.
been right about their property?
Yeah,
Look at J.K. Rowling.
yeah.
Ooh, Nikola supports his trans friends.
I'm just like Gwen.
I don't know if he does.
I'm just like Gwen,
Okay.
except I'm not trans.
So
All right. So I
Okay.
think we'll end it saying we all believe in the Snowpiercer Willy
I believe
Wonka
Beck,
theory.
no, Beck,
I think I
really-
believe
no,
in Occam's razor.
No, okay, Beck, it sounds like a fun theory, and that's just it.
But you believe
It's
it.
just
So we're
a
ending it
theory.
here. Okay, Nikola,
And
Aiden.
No, I believe that
Do you want to?
Rose in it.
I'm wondering. There's some sort of body of water someone needs to
Yeah.
be in. It's
All right.
crazy.
So I mentioned
Indian
it last
Springs?
week. So I'm gonna commit to this. I'm gonna watch all of the Cartoon Network animated series shows that they own and produced.
Are you gonna
and so,
rewatch
like,
the
all the
one
way
you've
through.
already seen or no?
I haven't seen every episode of all of the shows, but
Mm.
the ones I have seen, I will go through. Like I did Adventure Time, Steven Universe Future, and now I'm watching Craig of the Creek.
Infinity Train
Also, and Infinity
Yeah.
Train, Infinity Train also, yeah. So here's what's happened in Craig of the Creek. So there's these three kids, Craig, Kelsey, and JP, and Kelsey has a bird,
Mm.
and they all hang out at this creek. It's just like a place it's a creek, and there's a bunch of stuff that they do. And so right now there is the other side of the creek. It's underneath an overpass. It is protected by the guardian. He's named the Green Poncho. And on the other side, there is a ruler, the king, and his right hand Maya, who were friends with the Green Poncho. But then they got split up after the king made them split up. And so the king wants to invade Craig's side of the creek. And now he's gotten Craig's map. And so what's going to happen there?
weird and
He's
zany.
gonna find
Yeah.
his side of the creek. That's what he needs the map for.
No, to take it over.
But what is he
And,
gonna use the map for?
so he knows what it looks like.
So he knows the attack
And-
plans and where the weak defenses are. He can attack the food
Well, I mean-
storage first, take out them out. We have more of a hunger situation. Lay a vast siege, bring in a couple of, catapults, trebuchets, take out the walls. and then
Well,
he keep-
okay, so I have seen the season finale of season 3, which is what I'm on right now.
Yeah.
And it is a tug of war game. And previously, tug of war was what led the creek in the 80s, and all the kids in the creek in the 80s to stop playing there, as there was a war that kind of destroyed everything. And so there will be a capture the flag war between both sides of the creek.
Yeah.
And so we will see what happens between those two.
The cinematic
so
conclusion.
interesting.
Well, yeah, and then there's like 2 more seasons and a movie.
6 seasons in a movie.
No, 5 seasons and a movie.
Oh,
Yeah,
9 seasons and 11 movies.
that's not at all what I said.
what show is that?
But-
Beck, just take the first 2 numbers I said and say them together.
11D7.
No,
7-Eleven. Oh my
not-
god.
Is that a
Oh
show?
wait.
I
No.
think I can talk about what I've
Yeah,
been watching.
Nikola,
Joe.
it's your turn.
Because
the
I've
viewers at
watched
home will get
one
it.
movie and the 50 minutes of another movie.
Okay, well
But
just
wait,
talk
Nikola, I
about
want- I
one.
I'll
wanted to
start
know
with
if
the
you-
50 minutes one. I watched the first 50 minutes of the
Ahsoka.
one movie we saw a trailer of when we were watching Cocaine Bear.
Cocaine Bear
Wow.
2.
You saw Stray
Mushroom
Dogs?
Dog. Mushroom Dog. No, it's called Strays.
Yeah, you watched
Is this
Strays
anything like the
I watched
EY,
the
Cyberpunk
first
Cat
50
Simulator Stray?
I watched the first 50 minutes of it, and
and you
it
loved it?
wasn't horrible, but it definitely feels like it's trying to use like edgy humor. Like it's like, yeah, we just humped a couch. Aren't we so weird and
Whoa.
zany?
Did
We
you
just talked about how this dog has a big dick, and how this
Mm.
other dog wants to fuck that dog because it has a big dick.
That's
That sounds
crazy.
about right.
Did he bite the guy's
And
dick
also,
off yet?
my human owner hates me, but I don't know that. And also, he loves masturbating.
So true.
Mm.
It's such a good movie, but I mean, some jokes were kind of funny, but overall, I think it was definitely trying to be like overly edgy.
Yeah.
Wait, so it's the perfect movie for you, Nikola?
So true. He's
And then
so
the
right
other
when he
movie,
said
the
that.
one that I actually watched the entire thing of, was The Killer on Netflix.
Oh, I saw The Killer on Netflix.
I heard that was
Uh-huh.
good.
In my opinion, it's not a bad film.
Not bad.
I just think that John Wick
Advocate.
did it better
Mm.
because it has basically the exact same plot as John Wick, which is so funny to me.
I heard this one was
So-
more stealthier. Like he has to do
It's
the
more,
kills
it's
without
yeah,
anyone
it's definitely,
noticing.
it's more stealthier.
I felt like I personally. Wait, did you see all of it yet?
Yeah, I watched all of it.
I felt like I liked the movie. Definitely not Fincher is my favorite from Fincher. But
I heard the
felt like
ending
he
kind of
didn't get
robs
enough-
you.
Yeah, I felt like he
Yeah.
didn't get like too many. There was not enough obstacles for the guy in the movie.
Yeah.
Like he got
There was like
everything
5
was super
chapters,
easy.
and each chapter he kills like one person, and he
Yeah,
only only kills people in like 3 chapters.
Yeah,
Mm.
it's very easy. For
But it's
him,
basically
but-
John Wick because like, so basically he's like on a mission, but then somebody
fucks
he
up the
loves
kill.
is injured / killed, is like injured, and then that revolves him having to go on like revenge. And he has to get out his weapons and track down these people, go through people he's known in the past to find these loose ends, and track down each one and kill them. So
That's
I don't
very
know if that
John
sounds similar.
Wicky.
That sounds very much like John Wick to me, and it was basically John Wick, and I think John Wick did it better.
Yeah, it did do it better. But that's cool.
Yeah.
Wow.
But yeah, it wasn't bad. I've just seen better,
Right.
Yeah,
and that's
Uri.
what I've been
It was
watching.
fine. I just been watching the Squid Game show.
Oh.
So.
Okay, I
That's
do
it.
want to talk about one
Yeah.
thing before we end then. So,
Yeah.
I don't know if this was announced previously, but I found out this week that before the film Migration, there's going to be a short film where Vector is trapped on the moon. And I'm
I
actually,
can't wait.
There
I
is.
really want to watch that. I very much don't want to watch Migration.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hate that we
but-
have to watch
but-
Migration to see that. They have to release it for free.
I might literally
afterwards.
the next time in a theater try to go to the opening of Migration and then just leave halfway through, or just leave once the Vector part ends.
I mean, do it if you
It
can.
has to be released for free a little bit after.
Hopefully.
But Beck, I thought you were going Migration. Now there's a short film called Immigration.
Ooh.
No. Anyway,
Beck's least favorite thing.
What?
Anyway, someone give
anyway.
I
a
do not like this character arc where Uri is painting me like Nikola.
Spaceballs. We just had Spaceballs playing the whole time. That's what I'm recommending.
Yeah.
It's a character arc, Beck. Live with it. Omni-Man became good probably
Omni-Man
anyway.
is now the guy from Fortnite. I guess we can finish it off with that.
Yeah, we
Wow.
recommend
Anyway, someone give a
Fortnite
Everyone play Fortnite.
Cinematic Saturday.
We recommend Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite.
Yeah, no, wait. This goes
I
live on the
recommend- I
Friday
recommend-
before the Fortnite Big Bang, so go play that.
Yep.
as the recommendation.
I recommend going to see Snowpiercer. Good movie.
Yeah,
I recommend.
I
that.
recommend you guys watch the actual theory because he explains it way better than I do.
I don't
Okay.
plan on it.
No, you guys got
So
it.
always use
Always
always
use
use Celsius.
Celsius.
Use Celsius.
Remember
Listening.
Celsius, Spaceballs, Snowpiercer.